Hey, do you want to break into TV and film but don't know where to start? Then let me give you a quick overview of the most important things to be aware of. Please hit the subscribe button, like and comment on this video, as my whole channel will be about working in TV and film. I've been there before, where you are now, when I was at the start of my journey. This video will contain advice on how to land your first job. There are things that I've learned over my career so far. I will be honest with you though, this is a tricky industry to navigate. What you will need is consistency and perseverance. My goal with creating this channel is to give out as many tips and advice for people looking to have a career in TV and film as I can. I do have some other pretty cool plans for the channel too, but let's see how much we can make it grow first. By the end of this video, you'll know what you need to start prioritising, how to start plotting your journey into the industry, and what behaviours will get you noticed if you don't already have industry experience. My name is Thomas Rogers. I worked on set for 10 years, primarily as a digital imaging technician in the UK TV and film industry, working primarily in HETV and Features. I'll leave a link to my IMDb in the description below. In 2022, I transitioned to moving in-house for a company following the birth of my daughter. Having experience on both sides of the industry, on set and working for a company, gives me a really well-balanced view on what it takes to be successful in the industry, and the avenues you can take to get where you want to go. If you think I should do a separate video about my career, let me know in the comments below. I started my journey with zero connections to anyone that worked on set. I remember that some of my first opportunities in the industry were being a runner on an indie feature called One by One, starring Rick Mail. Shout out to Pete and Diane for the opportunity, which was one of the last projects before he passed, sadly. I also did some running work for Sky TV. In my third year of university, I was trying to become a camera trainee for nearly a year before I pivoted to a different path. I made the decision to change because I really wanted to get into the industry and the path just wasn't working as I thought it was going to, which is sometimes common. Because of my own personal experience on how challenging it is to break into the industry, coupled with how after the last few years I've been coaching new entrants into the industry, I thought I would create a channel to help more people like you get started. Make sure you stick with me until the end of the video, where I'll share with you a bonus tip about how I got into the industry and also a useful perspective to have if you're going to follow this career. Also, there will be a link in the description to a PDF that I've compiled listing the shorthand terms you hear crews say over the radio when working on set, which will be useful to learn if you're just about to spend your first day or week on set for the first time. Hiring in film and TV. Let's start with full-time employment position. If you are looking to join a company that is providing services to TV and film industry, they will have to follow the normal hiring processes as standard companies. By this I mean you'll submit an application for a job with a CV and a cover letter, go for an interview and be successful or not. It's also not uncommon for starting salaries to be lower than average for what you might think, plus the expectation of your attitude and work rate to be higher than average. So here's a heads up for that. For entry-level roles, you need to focus on two things: your love for the industry and your commitment and attitude to give it 110%. This industry is not your normal 9 to 5. I've heard countless stories of individuals having to stay late and go above and beyond to get the job done. I've got a few of those stories myself from when I started out. If you can convey and later prove that you're that person, you will greatly increase your odds of getting hired, and you will be taking the first steps to building your reputation and your network. Always, always, always make sure that you do not bulk apply. Have a tailored CV to the types of roles you're applying for and make a specific cover letter for each. I promise you this will make a big, big difference. When you are looking to get your first job on set, this is much trickier. There is a lot of competition, as this is where primarily most people want to work in the industry, so you also will need a little bit of luck. A wise man once told me that luck is where opportunity meets preparedness, and this is so true in the film industry. Your lucky breaks will come from being tenacious and consistent in your search for the work and building your network. My advice here is use whatever connection you have to get a job on set in any capacity, in any department to start. And once you're on set, do the job that you are there to do to a high standard, but make sure you take the time to go and network with the desired department you want to get into. Make sure you give before you receive. By this, I mean offer something. Help them in some way. For example, if it's cold, you can offer to get them a hot drink. If it's hot, you can ask them to get some water from the tea table. You could help them carry something. Get on their good side, then ask for some advice. Ask for contact details once you've built up some rapport and before you/they leave the job, so that you can keep in touch after the production. If you don't have any connections at all, not even a friend of a friend who's got a cat who's friends with a neighbour's cat and their owner might know someone in the industry, then you need to start going to events. I would get a job at almost any company to start with, as long as that company was offering services for on-set production, if that's where you want to be. Obviously, if you want to be in post or somewhere else, we'll go on that in later videos. This is the way that you'll be getting paid to learn and paid to start working near people that are working on set. This is part of a theory that I have that in my experience is the most powerful way to expedite your journey to working on set, especially in the higher tiered productions. Imagine a Venn diagram and the centre is where you want to end up. You want to get a position in a section of the Venn diagram that is closest to the middle and then make your way to the centre. I'll make a separate video about this in the future. I will also be doing separate videos that go more specifically into different routes into the industry. The other tip that I can give you now is to reach out to the film office that is in charge of the area that you are either based in or the area that you are looking to move to, and let them know that you're moving there. They will be able to give you guidance. They are also likely running events, workshops, training sessions that you should be attending. Networking and consistency is the key to success. So looking at the right entry-level roles like runners, whether that is a production runner on set or a post-production runner, production assistants at production companies, trainees in the various departments, for example, camera trainee, electrician's trainee, hair and makeup trainee, etc., location marshals. These are all some of the entry-level roles, and there's a lot of competition for these. So this is where you need to network. You're going to hear me say that word a lot. Build up your contacts and show them each day that you can, the attitude that you can bring, because that is what's going to get you hired and recommended. Courses. Doing courses in your desired field, for example like hair and makeup for TV and film, teaches you the necessary skills and allows you to start forming your network. You will build relationships with your peers and also be able to leverage your teachers for advice and opportunities. I think that one of the most powerful things you can get out of a more generic course or degree in TV and film, especially if you're doing ones with practical elements, is that they allow you to experience lots of different roles and departments. The most beneficial places to do courses will be establishments that have working industry professionals teaching. For example, somewhere like the NFTS, the National Film and Television School. But this will be the type of place to study once you know exactly the sort of department and direction you want to go into, just because I think that will be the most beneficial use of that course once you know where you want to already be. Also, because if you impress your lecturers, they may recommend you to their industry peers for opportunities. That does not mean that other establishments that offer courses are no good. The main priority is to take action and move forwards. How to match your skills to the right position. Firstly, you want to know what you're passionate about, right? And often your way into the industry won't be where you want to get to. You need to make sure that you have the right attitude every day to be successful in this industry. Regarding your skills, this should play a big factor in the role that you want to do. Don't, for example, go for a really technical role if you feel like you are much more of a creative individual. That being said though, that lots of roles are what I would say is a mixture of the both. For example, sound, camera department, like especially operating and being a cinematographer, DIT, video playback, sparks, etc. all have very technical elements to them, but they also do have creative outlets within the role in the department. So I wouldn't worry about pigeonholing yourself at the start of your career. There is plenty of room for change and growth once you get into the industry. The key is getting in, experiencing the industry and seeing what other departments do, and that will help you find your way to what you want to do, if you don't already know what that is. Networking and making connections. Networking, I cannot stress enough how important your network is to you and that you constantly need to be working on building your network. And there are many tools or platforms that we can use in helping us do that. One, for example, is LinkedIn. If you're looking at getting into the full-time employment side of the industry, which has a lot of pros to it, which I will cover in another video, then LinkedIn is a platform that you want to be utilizing. A lot of the people that work for the companies serving the film industry are very active on the platform. By leveraging the platform, you will get to know who the decision makers are for each company, and you will also see information about industry events that you should go to and start building your network. Facebook groups. These are a great resource for multiple reasons. There is almost a Facebook group for anything and everything, which I'm sure most of us already know. The groups that you should be looking at to join are groups that are relevant to the department you want to join, for example, a camera department, art department, lighting department, the role that you want to get, as a department trainee, so camera trainee, sound trainee, costume trainees, you will start to see people comment who are in the same situation as you or slightly ahead of you. You can learn from their discussions that are had there. You will also be able to enter into these discussions, build relationships and network. You never know when you might be able to strike up a conversation you get on with and go out for a coffee. Instagram. Instagram is the platform that you will find most creatives in the TV and film have a presence on. We're working on a creative visual medium, and this is a platform that fits that well. It may be difficult to find some, it's probably easy to find most. Go on IMDb, search people's names and find your idols, inspirations in the industry and see who follows them. Like, comment, engage with people's content, add value and build your network. Industry meetups and events. There are two ways to find out about these, passively or actively. Passively by doing what I just spoke about and follow your peers and inspirations on social media and take note of what and where they attend. Actively through Google. Google the industry bodies that are important to the department you want to get into. For example, BSc, Bec2, AD Guild, depending on the departments. Join them and see what events are on. Referrals, reputation. This is a small industry and people talk. You always want to put your best foot forward every day. That means be early, be organised, show willing and initiative, listen and follow instruction, which is important, work hard and be engaged. Seize every day on set, and the attitude that you have is that every day is an interview. Job boards / posts. These groups, places are good for multiple reasons. One, you get experience of applying to multiple jobs. As much as the success rate can be really low when competition is high, you have the opportunity to test different application styles. Secondly, a perfect opportunity to network. Lots of you in the same situation. You can talk to each other, support each other, meet up, build your network, give each other advice. Moderators or admins may be able to support you on advice with your CV, applications, or share with you advice on other ways to get employment in the industry. You will often see posts from others giving advice on the same topic. You can always post your CV and ask for some feedback. How to reach out on socials. When reaching out over DMs on platforms such as Instagram, you need to do your research and personalise each message. You want to start with building rapport with someone, compliment them on their posts, talk about the projects that they have worked on, add value. Once you've done this, you may be able to ask them for some advice on how to get into the industry or if they can connect you with someone or point you in the right direction. But you have to put a lot of effort into this first. This is how, sort of networking and building this rapport comes. You can complimenting them on their posts can be liking posts, complimenting their work. If you know their name and role, means you should be able to search them on their IMDb and find out what films they have worked on. Watch the projects and strike up some conversation about what you see. This is a strategy you should use for socials, and you should start doing it now, today, if you're serious, because this is a long process that will only yield results through consistency. If you drop me a comment in the comment sections below if you're struggling with outreach, and I'll try and help you the best I can. Mindset and work ethic for success. What makes people stand out on set? Attitude is everything. I've touched on this earlier, but if you want to be busy, then you need to be personable and make a lot of effort to get to know everyone in your department. By this I mean what makes them tick. What are their hobbies? What do they like? Also, what snacks do they like? What drinks do they like? When you're a trainee and you'll be fetching snacks and drinks for your department. Also, the person that is hiring you, usually that's the person that's in the role above you. So for example, if you're a camera trainee, it'd be the second AC. Do everything in your power to make their life easy in any way. If they can't live without you because you do all the jobs that they don't like, then they will have you on every job. The film industry is a collaboration, so within your department, when you're working your way up, mould your way of working to how they like things to be done. Then show up every day doing your best to help make the project come to life. Look after your department, but in general be nice to all crew. We're all there trying to reach the same goal, to create an amazing film, episode or project at the end of it. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. Applying to the wrong roles. The film industry has high competition, and unless the industry is crazy busy, like during the COVID boom, people do take a lot of care in their recruitment. So applying to any old role just because you need to get something won't yield you results. As I touched on earlier, if you're going to apply for multiple roles, make sure you're tailoring your application for that. So apply for jobs that are either in the department you want or will get you into a position to network with people in the department you want, and spend time on your applications. Sending generic emails, DMs. This follows on from the previous point. Anything generic will just get ignored. The industry is built on relationships and connections. This is what you want to foster and create. You will not be able to do this with generic outreach. Giving up too soon. This is a tricky one. I can't tell you what is or is not too soon. However, you need to be resilient in this industry. You will have setbacks and challenges to overcome. They will make you much better at your role. You need to go through these experiences to make it out the other side, so don't give up on the first or the fifth tough moment. As long as you still love doing it, then keep persevering. Expecting to get something before giving something or giving value. You need to give to get in this industry. By that I mean help people where you can, on passion projects, give out favours, and the love will be returned to you. Make sure that you're helping the crew on set and being a team player. When networking, you have to build rapport. Don't just ask people for work to hire you. All of the crews and work is built on relationships. Sitting on your phone or being lazy and unengaged on set. So many times I've seen people waste the opportunity that they have been given and don't maximise what you are doing. I always say to people I'm coaching, every day on set is like an interview. You have to give it your all. You need to be engaged, proactive, listen to instruction and act fast, although don't run on set. You don't do that. Bring value. Understand what your team need and go above and beyond to be indispensable to them. So here's a sort of bonus tip that I mentioned earlier. Phone calls. That's how I got my break in the industry. My running work at Sky on the indie feature that I worked on were through contacts at my college, not even my university degree, but my first employment at a company serving HETV and film came from me picking up the phone and speaking to anyone that I knew remotely worked in anything close to TV and film. Like people in media, anything. I just was looking to find a connection. I finally found someone who put me in contact with someone else who then gave me a list of other people to call and reference their name. I then went and called this list up, just asking someone if I could have a few minutes of their time for advice. The moral of this story is you have to put yourself out there and start to network and be consistent. I had spent nearly 9 months trying to become a camera trainee before this happened. Phone calls are such a great way to set you apart from emails. Everyone is emailing now. And emails are still effective, like don't get me wrong, it's something that you need to make sure you are also using to keep up relationships. But it's nowhere near as powerful as getting someone on the phone and you can really transmit your passion and your attitude through the way that you communicate over the phone. And the sort of mindset that you need or the way you need to frame this industry is it's a lifestyle, it's not a job. By this I mean you work long hours at random times of day, days, splits, nights. You work all over the country and sometimes all over the world. So be prepared for long commute times and staying abroad. There are lots and lots of positives to this, you know. You get paid very well to see the world and have some truly amazing experiences. So it is really worth it. You just need to know what you're getting into. If you comment below with what role, department you're aiming to get to in the industry, or a more generic question about the industry, and I'll try and get back to you. I'm going to try and post sort of weekly tips on breaking into the film industry. Please subscribe so you don't miss out. I'll see you on the next one.